How you doing, boys?
What's up, Karsten?
Wonderful.
Good
Yeah,
to see you.
yeah. I'm glad we could get this in. When do you leave, Avery?
Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Driving down. Should be fun.
Yeah, man. That's crazy.
7.5 hours.
Do you start on the 22nd? Do you start your internship?
Monday. Yeah.
Unbelievable, man.
T2.
Yeah.
And I'll be there all the way through August 25. So
Yep.
it's a full 14 weeks.
That's a lot.
And then you'll be back and grinding in Madison,
Yeah.
getting
Living
ready
with
to do-
Connor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. All right. Well, should we talk about some stuff?
We should talk about some stuff.
Okay. Let's the first thing I want to talk about today is a little something that we probably know very well. That being beer.
Oh.
And
What?
I don't know what that is.
What
Can
is
you
beer?
elaborate?
what is alcohol? So obviously we all know about Bud Light. They're kind of tanking at the moment after they partnered with a specific Dylan Mulvaney, trans activist. I guess to widen their audience, be more inclusive. Did you guys hear about this? I mean, how much do you guys know?
I know that they made the decision. Their customers reacted in
Mhm.
the way that they saw fit. And I heard a rumor, correct me if I'm wrong, that Bud Light changed their entire marketing department.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it looks like a few weeks after the whole fiasco went down, their whole marketing VP and marketing teams for Bud Light specifically were kind of gone and replaced with higher up Anheuser-Busch executives and whatnot. But
So the thing that confuses me most about this is how did this end up happening then?
right,
How did enough people say yes
yeah,
for this happened?
right. Well, I think what happened was you had one very woke executive who who had some sort of goal, right? And there were some interviews, and I'm the name of this executive who is no longer with the company slipping my mind, but she did some interviews afterwards, and her reasoning was she believed that Bud Light was battling this persona as the partying beer or the frat beer, and they wanted to open up a little bit, uh, kind of break that stigma. I don't know if you remember during the Super Bowl, but they actually had a commercial during the Super Bowl where it was like a young couple sitting in their living room and just like dancing around to classical music, drinking Bud Light. And she referenced that as like the first step in breaking that stigma. And a lot of people at the time were just like, well, this is kind of an odd commercial for Bud Light. But now we know the point of that commercial, and obviously its successor, the move to market with Dylan Mulvaney. But yeah, so there's just this recent article on Daily Wire says that retail data from Bump Williams Consulting indicate that sales for the brew declined 23.6% in the week ended May 6th relative to the same period last year. Slightly worse outcome than the 23.3% decline seen from the week ended April 29. So it seems like as the weeks go on, Bud Light has continuously lost more and more sales, which I think is good. I think this is awesome. This seems like one of the only conservative boycotts that's actually working.
Don't mess with our beer.
Right.
I'm starting to, since it's had such a wide effect, I'm starting to believe that it's not even just a conservative boycott. It's just people
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
I do think so. Let's back up a second.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of assuming that everybody knows everything that's happened with the Bud Light. Do you want to do a quick synopsis on?
Yeah.
You've said that they hired this trans activist. We don't know why, and I think we should get into that.
Right.
And then sales have declined essentially because of that. Is that a reaction to this activist being hired, or?
Yeah, well, it seems like that. I mean, I think often you see with these big corporations, and what we've seen in the past is you have executives who push these woke agendas, and it works out well for a lot of companies. And so with Bud Light, they reach out to this very increasingly popular trans activist, Dylan Mulvaney, who is trans, and they gave him his own can. And he made a few videos. Basically, Dylan is a man who believes he's a woman and is very intent on kind of portraying this very stereotypical dumb woman, and is probably pretty offensive. And yeah, and I think obviously this is one of the industries where conservatives probably hold more weight than people would think. Specifically, Anheuser-Busch, the parent company of Bud Light. Anheuser-Busch has in the past been fairly conservative in their political giving. They give money to both sides, but I think I read a few things where Anheuser-Busch actually gives more money to Republicans. And so when this all went down, you had a lot of conservatives with a lot of weight saying, "Let's boycott Bud Light for this. Like this is ridiculous." And it actually has a lot of weight because a lot of conservatives, a lot of blue collar people, they drink Bud Light, and I think that probably sums up the scenario.
Okay.
What's interesting though, what's kind of funny is there are a few clips of I guess you could call them rhino Republicans, but there's a clip of like Donald Trump Jr. who was talking about this, and he was saying, "Look, Anheuser-Busch is a fairly conservative company. They give fairly well to Republicans. They made a mistake. They know they made a mistake. Now let's probably call off the dogs and let's enjoy the beer. Like they made a mistake. We made our point. Let's call it off." And obviously, you guys probably know what I think to that. But what are your thoughts?
I think the stain on the reputation isn't going to go away,
Mm-hmm.
and people just do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But to me, Donald Trump Jr. isn't enough to
No.
change my mind about anything.
No. I mean,
I don't really care. I didn't really care for Bud Light before, and I don't care to get made fun of now.
yeah. That's the funny thing now. It's like Bud Light is the beer that you don't want to get caught with. Doesn't matter if you're political or not. It's just like uncool to drink Bud Light now, which is funny. It's great. The boycott has really worked wonders. But
Yeah, so what's going to happen in the future, which is the biggest question of Bud Light was this very conservative big beer company that now is kind of uncool to drink. I wouldn't go to a store and buy Bud Light. The only I don't know many people that would anymore. You'd go and get something else.
yeah.
So does that mean Bud Light is just gonna? And I don't see that changing.
Yeah.
Which is as much as they, might do. Stain's not gonna go away.
Yeah.
At least.
Like what could make it cool again? What could make it? There's just so many
yeah.
other options,
They'd probably have to roll back everything and probably start selling something else besides beer.
Yeah. I think they'd have to make some sort of full-scale apology, which won't happen. It's not going to happen.
No. And I don't know if it really needs to either. Just, let people choose.
Yeah.
What do you think about?
People are choosing no Bud Light.
Yeah, that's kind of the customers speak, right? What do you think about apologies? That was an interesting statement right there, because at least I've got an opinion about this, and it's people make mistakes all the time.
Yeah.
Right, and that is a fundamental part of being a human being, is that we do make mistakes.
Yeah.
And that we do, we need to accept those mistakes, find out how to make them right.
Right.
But kind of the court of public opinion is a huge force in this world, and kind of the staple is, oh, I made a mistake. I need to do a full-scale public apology.
Yeah.
And that means, I come out on Twitter and I come out on all of these whatever, and I say, hey, that was very inappropriate of me. Hey, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. A lot of times it feels like people can just say that and then, okay, you're good to go and you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe that I don't know. It leaves a sour taste in my mouth a lot of the time, and
So
I'm not sure exactly why.
so this is what I think about Bud Light. I think Bud Light obviously is a for-profit company. They're losing a lot of money, and the way to get their customers back, I don't expect them to do this, but the only recourse at this point to get money back to save their company would be to come out full scale and to denounce gender ideology, apologize for putting Dylan Mulvaney on the can, and then run some sort of like traditional pro America, like pro man ad, or
I don't think so. I mean,
you
I
don't
think
think
they're
so?
already trying to do that. They're
Yeah,
trying to, but without the apology
exactly.
part. To me, there's a difference. Like, you can apologize to me all you want. It doesn't mean I have to go buy your beer now.
No,
It doesn't mean anything.
yeah, yeah.
So-
This has definitely been a prime a very good example of one of the greatest brands plummeting, just obliterating itself. Because like you were saying, like I wouldn't even say Bud Light was like mainstream conservative beer. It was just probably one of the most brandable beers, you know.
Remember Dilly Dilly?
Dilly Dilly, yeah, hell yeah, that was such a
That's
good,
awesome.
that was so funny, yeah, and that is, yeah, that's yeah,
It's yeah. The way I see it, regardless of what you believe about the person they were pushing,
mm-hmm.
it's a fascinating example that will be used in marketing classes for years to come about
Yeah.
how one small thing can either make or break your campaign.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It's really cool.
Yeah. So what does this mean moving forward for other companies that are? You've got other companies, not even conservative, liberal, neutral, whatever, just big brands. What do they do to avoid this?
Well, I mean, there's really only one thing you can do is you try to walk the road down the middle as best you can, I guess, because you see that, you offend people this way, you offend people that way. I don't know. It's kind of exhausting for consumers, though, right?
Yeah, it is exhausting. That's why I enjoy when the things that we buy stay out of politics, and this is a lot easier.
There.
Yeah.
So what are we as consumers looking for?
Separation of
Exactly. We just want a product. We don't want anything that runs an agenda. We don't want, and I think that was the biggest reason why Bud Light. It's always been, this is a cheap, good go-to beer that is totally fine. There's no agendas. It's just a beer. That's awesome. And then they like, oh, we're just gonna use our beer to push this agenda, and that's why it plummeted. So, if we're talking to some big other company out there, not even just beer. Hey, Nike, don't push an agenda. You start pushing an agenda.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, it's replaceable enough too. Like, it's a beverage. Like, there's lots of other beverages. Whereas, maybe Disney Plus is pushing some type of agenda I'm not a fan of. But there's nowhere else I can watch Mandalorian.
So I'm
still gonna do it. But yeah, beer. So you have to know your industry as a leader.
Yeah. All right. You guys want to talk about Tucker Carlson a little bit?
Sure.
Since we talked about it last time and then we forgot to record and
Yeah,
okay.
had a lot of thoughts.
Yeah. So anyway, so Avery, since you said you didn't know much about what happened, so Tucker Carlson abruptly fired from Fox News. Obviously, he was the highest rated cable news anchor in the industry across all networks. His ratings were spectacular. He's getting around 3 million a night, 3 million viewers a night.
Wow.
Abruptly,
You're fine.
abruptly fired. Not sure why. This is also around the same time that Fox News is settling a lawsuit with Dominion. Are you familiar with that?
No.
So Dominion voting systems were used in the 2020 election.
Okay.
And after the election, Donald Trump made a lot of claims. A lot of conservatives made a lot of claims about the integrity of these Dominion systems. which were played on Fox News a lot. Dominion brought a lawsuit against Fox News for like disparagement, for lying about the
Defamation
system,
stuff.
defamation stuff. Yeah, and Fox News ended up settling in court. They settled with Dominion for close to $800 million for defamation. So Tucker's firing comes like right on the heels of that. A lot of people are speculating that undisclosed that the Dominion settlement had some sort of line where Fox was going to fire Tucker Carlson.
Gotcha.
Yeah, not sure about it. Anyway,
Was Tucker, I'm assuming he was a lot of the stuff that was being said against Dominion?
I'm not quite sure because, I'm not quite sure about it. I think mainly because he was I would say he's probably a target because he is the highest rated anchor in all of cable news. But yeah, so he's fired. He's technically still under contract, which presumably has some sort of non-compete clause in it. So he can't. He's up until 2025. He's really not allowed to do any media job because he's signed in with Fox.
Does that mean he's still getting paid by Fox?
Yeah, he's still getting paid millions.
Interesting.
Interesting, right?
They're just choosing not to air him, basically.
Right.
Right.
And then he's
Which seems almost suicidal because I don't know if you've listened to Tucker at all, but like Carlson, Tucker. The interesting thing about Tucker Carlson is his monologues will make news. Like his monologues will drive views. Just him talking, and I don't know if you've listened to him before, but he's just like a very good speaker. So he came out on Twitter last week and he said that he's going to be running a show on Twitter. He's going to be doing somewhat similar show that he was doing on Fox News, but posting it to Twitter. And this comes on the heels also of a lot of people are moving their shows, like their podcasts, their news shows, to Twitter because it has very little crackdown on offensive things and whatnot. You look at like YouTube; they're very stingy about what they allow, what they crack down on. Kind of introduces the competitor rumble, but Twitter is kind of moving in that direction. And yeah, Tucker Carlson says I'm gonna host a show on Twitter, and
it's Tucker.
Tucker says, "Hey, here you're talking about. Can I come on the podcast?"
right. So I don't know. I think this is really interesting. I don't know if you're on Twitter at all. Do you have?
I have a Twitter.
Yeah.
I am on it mostly to follow the Chicago Cubs and the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, okay. Okay. Dude, man, I've been on Twitter lately. It's definitely interesting. I love Twitter. I love Twitter.
So it's changed quite a bit under the new Supreme Leader.
Yes, under Elon. Yeah, no, it's really cool. There's like community notes. Have you heard about community notes?
No.
What's that?
So people will post whatever, some sort of claim, they'll tweet whatever. And if it's misleading or if it's wrong or if it's, I don't know, whatever, if there's additional context needed, community notes, which you'd think this could be abused very easily.
Right.
Community notes is a group of people who write context underneath or say why this is wrong or why it's misleading. They write it and like pin it to the tweet. So wherever it's retweeted or reposted or whatever, you see the community notes.
Is it verified?
Yeah, it's a group of people who work for Twitter and journalists. They work
checkers.
Yeah, fact checkers, exactly. And you'd think it would be biased or this could be
Right.
abused. It's actually really good. It's actually really, really good. Calls out a lot of bullshit. It's really cool. So,
All right.
Interesting. Is this something that Twitter's always had, or is this new?
no, this is new under Elon, I believe.
So it kind of shifted from, hey, we think this is wrong, so therefore we'll delete it,
Yeah.
to, hey, we think this is wrong. We'll allow the content to exist so everybody can see what it is,
Yeah.
but we'll label it as, hey, we believe this to be incorrect.
Right.
And then whether or not you trust that fact-checking
Right.
group, then you can determine. And apparently it sounds like, they went out and got the best of the best, and you can see, yeah, this probably is fake if they're
Yeah.
saying that
Well,
it is.
the cool thing is they link articles too. They link
Oh, nice.
sources underneath their claims.
References and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And they're like, and no, it's really cool.
So do they take content down that they don't believe in or they think is misleading?
I
They
don't
just
think
leave
so.
it up and leave the viewer open to do their own research.
I believe the latter. I mean, obviously there are terms where if it's like pornographic. Actually, what's funny is I think pornographic things can be on Twitter, but obviously like child porn or like incitement to violence, like those things are still banned from Twitter, like the obvious things. But the things that normal conservatives were getting banned from Twitter for, and like hate speech and whatnot, that doesn't really affect
So hate speech, this is a very interesting topic of
Sure.
conversation here, just given recent events.
Mhm.
Hate speech is protected under the First Amendment. Is that correct?
Yeah, because the thing is, I don't think you can define hate speech, because speaking hatefully is definitely protected by the Constitution.
What does the First Amendment say?
Let's look it up.
Let's be
Let's be right here, yeah? Specific. So to
I've
give a little
always-
context to our viewers, we all attend UW-Madison, and there's been a little thing going around where there was a girl who posted a video to, I think, several different.
I think her friend took a video,
Oh, was that what it
had
was?
it,
Okay, so
Yeah.
she
and
didn't
then
actually record.
to get back at her, posted it. Finally, I don't know how long ago it was, but
Okay, yeah, but it was basically her saying some racist slash
it was bad.
some people's opinions hate speech, which I am of the mindset that it was. It was. I mean, it was pretty bad.
It was hate. See, this is the thing. I hate using the term hate speech, because it gets hijacked by lefties who want to pull anything that you say that is reasonably like a reasonable thought,
Right,
and say you're a hateful person.
It
So
loses
what?
a lot of its punch when it's overused.
Right. So what she was saying, yes, it was very hateful things. But to add some context, apparently what I heard was it was right after Mifflin. This chick was incredibly intoxicated, and she sent a private video to her friend, and her friend screen recorded it or something, or saved it, and posted it into the like one of the class group chats on Snapchat. You know what those are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my understanding of what happened. Yeah. And just to jump in, so First Amendment says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Right. So there's 5 things in the First Amendment: freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of
Right to
To
assemble.
petition.
whatever. There are 5 of them.
So,
Yeah.
hang on, what
Okay,
are
but
they? Freedom of speech, freedom of religion,
Yeah.
right to assemble, right to petition the government, and then what was the last one?
Did you say religion?
Uh-huh.
Press.
There we go.
Press, yeah.
The freedom of the press.
Yeah,
I think this is where it breaks down in this case, because I don't think she ever obviously would never intend for what she said to end up being seen by anybody. So if she was videoed like without her consent, does that change things? Or I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I mean, I'm curious the context. Like, I think let's just talk about what it is for right now. Like, for what it is, as we see it. So, chick makes a video, obviously very intoxicated. Says a lot of.
She didn't film it though. Like she was just like from what I saw the video, and she was
Oh,
just
you did?
on the couch, and somebody else is recording her,
Oh, okay, I
So-
didn't know that.
and she's like clearly intoxicated out of her mind.
Yeah.
She could have said anything.
Yep.
And like, yeah.
Okay.
So she didn't film the video and send it to somebody.
Oh, Okay.
It was somebody else filmed her and was
Gotcha.
laughing behind the camera when she did it too.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
And then somehow
Yeah.
that video ended up in the hands of somebody else who I think then posted.
I see.
Maybe.
See.
Or the person who took the video wanted to get back at this girl she just videoed and posted to the
Right.
story.
But either way, she didn't record the video of herself with
Correct.
the intent to send to anybody.
Right. So my question is what she said in that room, not thinking she was being recorded, protected as free speech?
I think it's protected regardless. Like
Either
she could record herself saying all those things. It doesn't matter. Like you can't fine her or punish her for saying those things because hateful things are protected under the First Amendment. Hateful
as
speech.
evil as they are.
Right, exactly. You have the freedom to express yourself. You have the freedom to be evil or to have evil thoughts and to say evil things. You have the freedom to do that. But
you don't have the freedom to make other people believe it.
right, like you can't. Yeah,
Obviously.
yeah, obviously, yeah, for
So-
sure.
So then there was, after her saying these things, our school came out and had a statement of saying, hey, we can't really like do anything about this. I know
Mhm.
you guys are upset and you have the right to be upset, but we can't really do anything about this because it's protected. And, you know, she has a right to say those things. But then there, the minority of outspoken leftists kind of saw that and clapped back at the university and said, hey, look at all these other schools that have expelled
Right.
or you know, punished their students in some way for things that they've said.
Yeah.
And so my question is,
Why?
well, why were those schools able to do that?
Yeah.
If all speech is protected, what's the and I think there's kind of two schools of thought. You know, the school has the right to accept whoever they want into their school, and they also have the right to expel you for whatever reasons.
Well,
But do they have the right to do that?
no.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't think that they have the right to expel you for any. Well, see, okay, I understand what you're saying because they can accept you, I guess, for any reason. I think it depends on what kind of school you are first, because if you're a private school, if you're a privately funded school, then I think they can do whatever they want. They can accept you based on any grounds. They can expel you for based on any grounds. It doesn't matter because they're privately funded. But when you're publicly funded with state money and federal money, then you're at the whims of the Constitution. That's why private schools can bar specific speakers to campus just because they don't like them, but public schools can't.
But they can find other loopholes, apparently.
Yeah, no,
That's a different
they
conversation.
they definitely can.
Next time.
Right. So with this chick, yeah, I'm not well read on those other examples of people getting expelled for doing some or like saying something very offensive or racist or whatnot. All I know is, yeah, it is funny that you can't hear, but it has been done in the past, and I'm curious about why.
Yeah, I can definitely understand how that would confuse some people and make some people upset then. If it's been done somewhere and you would think that the rules would be similar.
Yeah.
Like I can understand that.
Well,
I
okay.
just don't know whose call it is.
I personally, okay, here's the thing though. I don't think that she should be expelled. Like I don't believe that she deserves to be expelled because obviously like college I've heard so much crazier shit on this campus. Like I've heard a lot of crazy shit. Not that what she said wasn't incredibly offensive or racist or hurtful, but I think the context matters. This chick was incredibly intoxicated. She was filmed and she didn't even know she was being filmed. And now her name is all over the news. Like everyone knows this chick. Everyone knows what she looks like. Like how is she ever going to get a job in the future? How is she supposed to move on from this? Like she was recorded without her knowing when she was incredibly intoxicated and she said some awful things and now her life is over. Like how is she supposed to get a job? How is she supposed to move on? I don't know. I just feel bad for this girl. Not because what she said wasn't like bad. Like it was awfully bad. It was very bad. But her life is over. Like where's the grace? Like where's the I don't know. it just makes me sad for this girl because you have a mob of people who like hate this person and wish that her life was over. And
And you can't come at hate with more hate and expect good things to happen.
yeah,
It's right. I don't think expulsion would really solve anything. That makes sense. Like she'll probably just leave the school
anyway.
on her own.
Yeah, like if I were her, I would just drop out. Like everyone knows me, all the professors know me. I mean, I don't know if you disagree, Avery, but like if I were in her position, I don't know how I could just like move on from this because you know that probably much of the faculty knows who she is, and many people know who she is, and she's ultimately she's infamous. Like now, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess my opinion on it is I like to always try and put myself in each person's shoes, and I don't know this person.
Right.
I know only enough about her from this story, you know.
Exactly.
But I guess if I were in her exact same position with, you know, my experiences coming to it, I don't think I would drop out. Like it would. Whoa, that's fun.
Yeah. You don't think
Anyway,
you would drop out?
I don't think I would drop out because if I were to drop out, where else is going to accept me? Like just logically, it would suck so much to go through the rest of college with people knowing your name and people, you know, professors and being infamous. But if I were to drop out, who else would accept me if if my goal is still to get a degree?
Yeah.
Because and you were just saying, how is she supposed to get a job somewhere, you know? And there is some grace depending on who you go to and how you handle yourself afterwards, you know. If I made a mistake, hey, I'm sorry, like this is what happened, you're upfront about it.
20 years old. Like
Yeah, and you're intoxicated and you don't know,
mhm.
like you don't know you're being recorded and all of these different things that are going on all at the same time. Yeah, but I guess if I were in her situation, I wouldn't drop out just from the pure logic of, you know, this school is still offering me a second chance. They are offering me grace. And it's not even a second chance because they're saying basically our hands are tied. We can't do anything about it. But they're still offering me, you know, you can still get a degree from this school. You can still go wherever. Just logically, I think I'd stay. But maybe she doesn't want to deal with all that and just got other plans. I don't know.
Right.
And
I
maybe
think-
somewhere would accept her. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I think probably what everyone kind of probably needs to do is just try to move past it and believe the best, and you know, believe it was a terrible mistake, and hopefully she changes the way she interacts with things, and I mean, hopefully everybody can move past it
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
believe
and
that she'll, you know, be different one day.
and exactly like she made a mistake, right? This is something I'm sure she regrets it terribly. It's not like it wasn't her fault. She did say those things.
She chose to get incredibly intoxicated and put herself in a poor position.
Yeah,
Poor position.
and surround herself with people that would do that to her.
Yeah.
Too.
Yep. Exactly.
And
It's probably. I mean, I'm sure it's been an incredibly large learning experience for her. So,
without a doubt.
yeah. But, man. Okay.
all right, back to Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, well, Tucker Carlson, she said, yeah, Tucker Carlson, he posted a video. He's going to be doing stuff on Twitter, presumably. He hasn't signed any contract with Twitter or made any agreements, and obviously, he's presumably is under this non-compete clause in his contract. But
Would he need to sign a contract with Twitter to post things?
I don't know if you'd have to sign anything or make any agreement. Obviously, if he wanted to be paid by Twitter to exclusively host a show on Twitter, then he would have to sign some sort of contract. I just think I think it's interesting. I think Twitter is moving in a really cool direction, and I'm excited to see.
So that's interesting. So how does the direction Twitter's headed? How does it differ from what other places are doing? What makes it unique? Like what is futuristic about it?
Yeah. So at the moment, well, I think first you have to just acknowledge what Twitter was before Elon took over, and Twitter was a place where you could kind of see the current thoughts of all these famous people. You know, you could hear what people are talking about, hear what they're thinking, in a very brief way. Hear what's kind of going viral, and you don't have to like sit down at on YouTube and watch long videos, or you don't have to get on Facebook and see what your family's posting and whatnot. I think Instagram is obviously more media based, like more pictures and reels and whatnot. So I think much more conversationally based or news based. There's a page of
Sorry.
the
Like
yeah.
it shows exactly what people are thinking about right now.
I think it drives the national conversation. Like I think it's like what is in the news right now? What are people talking
What do
about?
people care about right now?
Yeah.
What's trending?
Yeah, and so that is attractive. That's cool. But now with like Elon, they're introducing ways to post more long form content, so people can presumably in the future there will be a lot of content creators who are posting podcasts, shows on Twitter. There are these things called I think I forget what they're called, but you can. Do you guys remember there used to be some sort of like media some sort of media app where people would get on and you would just listen. It would be like a large group chat or a large group call, and people would just listen to.
Is it Periscope?
No, I, I don't know. But basically, Twitter, they have this feature where some sort of account can host this large group of people, and they can just talk, and there's no video or anything. It's just like a large talk. It's almost like a lecture. That's something cool.
Like a live stream, but no video.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And
Kind of odd.
is it everybody who's watching can talk, like one big group call, or just the host? So how do you regulate that if you got thousands of people talking at the same time?
Oh, you have to like request permission to turn your microphone on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just like the direction it's heading, and obviously with Elon now, there's a bigger emphasis for freedom of speech and not getting shut down just because you have opinions that don't coincide with the mainstream. I like that. I think Elon buying Twitter is going to be something that years down the line will be very important. But
so maybe the value you see there is ideas that are free and people can believe what they want to believe and see things without any type of regulation, and it's accessible in a variety of ways.
Correct.
And there's
Yeah.
a lot of engagement.
Yeah, I recommend getting on Twitter. Yeah, it's just check it out. Yeah, it's fun. But yeah, like I don't know about you, but I like the trending page.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll just like
I
go
do
on
check
there.
that a lot, actually.
Yeah, just like see what's trending and then like click on it and just like scroll through and see if there's anybody interesting on there. I think it's a good way to. I mean, this sounds cynical, but it's fun to get your news from Twitter because you kind of know, like, you just know you see what's going on and who is saying what about it, and you can kind of make up your mind based on like who you trust, which is cool.
Yeah, I think Twitter's kind of it's becoming what it was originally intended to be, right? Because when it was initially created, it was just kind of a free for all, no regulation at all, and everybody was like, bro, I don't know if this is what we want."
Yeah.
But then like they started adding these regulations and they made some poor hiring choices presumably, and all of a sudden, it turned into kind of this propaganda machine of, hey, we like what they're saying, so we'll allow it. And even though that's technically okay to say, we don't like it, so we're going to remove it.
Yeah, we'll shadow ban conservatives.
All that stuff.
We'll lock people out of their account. What was funny is when Elon took over, I don't know if you remember hearing about the Twitter files, but Elon would release these large, just large swaths of like emails and information to pretty middle of the road journalists like Barry Weiss, and what they found out. I mean, like I didn't go super far into the Twitter files, but one of the things that was revealed in those releases was that that places like the FBI or the White House, they could reach. They had forums where they could very easily and very quickly, conveniently reach out to Twitter and say, "Hey, this tweet by this person, we want it gone." And then Twitter would oblige and either like edit the algorithm so that that tweet wasn't seen by a lot of people, or just lock someone out of their account and take it down. But yeah, I would encourage anybody just to like go read that part of the Twitter files. But it's pretty crazy.
It was basically an extended arm of the government.
Exactly.
Cracked down on speech.
Exactly, and yeah, it's like almost insane. And Elon's been like in interviews and talked about that and how ridiculous that Twitter would just allow the government to puppet it like that.
And that's what you see in countries overseas that are completely corrupt and
Yeah.
have no type of free speech.
Right. Yeah. So.
Free speech.
Right.
Yeah, they allow you. Oh yeah, you can totally say what you want.
No, you can't. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
I like where it's going.
The new Twitter. All right.
Twitter. Yeah.
Okay, well, so I gotta get on Twitter.
Yeah.
So all you out there need to go follow this man's right here.
Yeah.
His new.
I gotta follow you.
Yeah.
Do you tweet?
Do you know what my
You
name
tweet?
is?
No, I don't tweet. I was thinking about writing a tweet the other day, but
Okay.
I don't have any followers. My mom follows me actually, so yeah, I'll add you soon. I'll add you soon.
I think
tweet?
I don't tweet. So
Okay.
I got on Twitter like junior year of high school, and it was I can't remember. There was some scandal of like the government is like tracking you or something like that, and I was like, I don't want any of my information out there. So I made this like Twitter, and I was like, I'm just gonna say my name is Sparta because like I'm one of the many. And so and then like obviously Sparta was taken, so then I was like Sparta 1, Sparta 2 until I could like find something, and eventually just like typed out a random number or something like that. So I'm like Sparta 01457 or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
But I don't think I've ever like retweeted anything. I just ghost around. So I think I'll just like make an actual one for myself so that I can post things and whatnot.
It's fair. All right, let's get into it.
Yes.
Am I the asshole number 2?
Yes.
Okay, I think I found a good one. I haven't read through
We'll be the judge of that.
Yeah. I haven't read through. I just read the title, but okay, it's Will I Be the Asshole?
Oh.
Will I be the asshole for going to a college football game instead of staying in town for my wife's birthday?
That's great.
Let's see.
What?
Let's see. I'm a 30-year-old male, and I'm an alum of Oklahoma State University.
Oh.
I want to go to the Oklahoma State at Arizona State football game this fall. However, the game is on the same day as my wife's 30th birthday. My wife is very big into birthdays, and this is a big milestone birthday. My mother-in-law approached me about throwing a party for her and wants it on her birthday, which is the same day as the game. I've told her I may be out of town, which she is appalled at. She asked me if my wife knew, and I told her we had discussed it. I want to go. She doesn't want me to go. I told her we could celebrate together before or after the trip. She wasn't keen on that idea. Yeah. Can imagine.
There's a lot of things going on already.
Yeah. And there's still more to go. It's kind of crazy, but okay. My best college friend who went to OSU still lives in Scottsdale and has a house. A few other buddies are planning to go. A few spouses may go, but when I broached the topic with my wife, she wasn't interested. She wants me to stay home. She told me she wants me to be around her friends and family and not tailgating in a parking lot in Tempe,
Arizona.
Tempe, Arizona. She says she won't stop me from going, but I'll be a huge asshole.
Classic.
She won't be.
Classic.
She won't stop me, but she's gonna be very disappointed. And she said that he'll be a very huge asshole if he goes. This is possibly what's that?
No, let's keep going.
Okay, this is possibly a once in a lifetime opportunity. What is it really?
Is it Arizona State? Sure.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a. Okay, this is possibly a once in a lifetime opportunity with the caveat that it could become an every other year thing. There are rumors about ASU joining the Big 12, which could make us conference rivals, and we play every year. But I want to go now, as the wife and I have discussed kids in the future, and this trip would be much easier without a kid in our life.
Whoa.
Essentially, I want to go to a game on my wife's birthday. I brought it up. She doesn't want me to go and said I'll be the asshole if I went. My MIL was it MIL? My mother-in-law is planning a party for that day. Would I be the asshole for going to the game anyway?
Would I be the asshole for going to the game?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Does it say the significance of playing ASU?
It says that.
Not that it really matters, but I'm curious.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it because maybe this is something you guys probably watch college football more than me, but
That like neither of those teams are. I mean, Oklahoma State is kind of good, but Arizona State.
They're
great.
pretty bad.
It's just it's not. It doesn't. It's not like you're playing like Alabama.
So okay, yeah. So the caveat is that okay, if this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, this is a very big important game. There's a very big important reason for me to consider this a higher priority than my wife.
Right.
Right? Because what he's essentially deciding between is this football game is a higher priority than his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's his wife's birthday, and birthdays come every year, but it's a big milestone, and it's very important to her.
Yeah. To me, there's only really like one element here that matters. It's did he make actually there's a couple. But did he make the plan already to go to this game and then his mother-in-law came to him, well, made the plan and got approval from his wife to say, like, yeah, you could be gone. Like I'd want you to be around, but you could still go. Like we're not I'm just going to be with family. He agreed to go. He's locked in. Then his mother-in-law says, I'd like to throw a party. Like, can you be here? Then I'd say, well, no, I already made these plans already. They're set in stone. I can't. But
Yeah.
in this case, it seems like he didn't make any set plan.
Yeah.
So it is just a choice, like
Yeah.
one or the other.
I just don't understand the once in a lifetime opportunity. If there's
Yeah.
if there's the chance that this ASU is going to join the same conference as Oklahoma State and they're going to be playing, and you potentially will have kids in the future, you don't even know.
Yeah.
Like, why is this a once in a lifetime opportunity?
It's not. It's this guy trying to talk himself into, I personally would prefer to go see college football than hang around my wife's dopey old family.
Yeah.
He's trying to talk himself into being, okay, this is an okay thing to do.
And it is her 30th birthday. Like it's no slouch. It's a
Oh. Yeah, it's
Now
the,
she's
the
old.
big one- the big three,
Yeah.
the big 3-0. Yeah, she's not in her
Did you
20s
say,
anymore.
She's old.
now she's old.
She is old.
She's not 20 anymore.
Yeah, she's not in her 20s.
It's personal rule I live by is what did I commit to first? That's where I need to be.
Mm.
Unless there's an unforeseen situation, it's up for discussion. But
Well, it's his
what
wife.
What did I commit to first? He
Yeah.
committed to his wife
Yeah,
by marrying her.
right.
And if she wants him around for her birthday,
Yeah.
and she doesn't want to go with him to Arizona,
What is
Yeah.
it even at Arizona?
yeah, it's at Arizona. So
Yeah.
he'd go.
So
to
what's
Tempe.
the?
He-
It's
because
not
he
even
has-
at his home stadium.
Because he has a few other buddies who are planning on going, and
planning, but they don't have a plan.
They what? No. It sounds like they have a plan, and they invited him along, and he's trying to figure out if he can go or not. He hasn't committed to it.
yeah,
Said, no, the day of the game is my wife's birthday. Wish I could go, but I can't.
yeah. This seems pretty cut.
Yeah,
And
in my opinion, this is pretty
'Cause-
clear. Yes, you'll be the asshole if you go.
That's the thing. He's also not the asshole if he stays with his wife. Like, his friends won't think that he's an asshole.
yeah,
For deciding to be at home with his wife on her birthday.
it's kind of selfish just to be like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna go.
Right. Like, if both options make you an asshole and you have to choose one of or the other,
Yeah, yeah.
it'd be different.
Or if it wasn't, yeah, exactly. Or if it like wasn't an asshole either way. If his wife was like, I'm not really a birthday person anyway, and he's just feeling, I feel like maybe I should be home with my wife because birthdays can be a big deal. But she's like, I don't really care, like, if you're there or not. I don't celebrate birthdays that much. My family will be here, but whatever. You can go if you'd like to. Then maybe it's a harder decision. But she is very clearly, I want you here. Birthdays are a big deal to me. My family will be around. I don't want you in some parking lot getting drunk with your college buddies. Like
He's got to be like near 30 now too.
I would assume so.
Like, wasn't that more of an early 20s thing?
I mean, there's something to be said for getting together with your college buddies as
Right.
you get older, for sure.
Yeah, life gets
The
busy.
the responses are just roasting him. Like,
Give us some good ones.
yeah. So this one, you will be the asshole. It's an effing football game. It doesn't matter at all to anyone unless you're getting some special alumnus who traveled the farthest to go to a effing football game award. Be a man and celebrate with your wife. Another one says, you really have to ask? Yes, you would absolutely, in italics, be the asshole for skipping out on your wife's birthday and party for a football game when she's made her feelings clear. Sort out your priorities. Watching college football game doesn't really qualify as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
No, it doesn't. And I get it. I'm a giant sports fan. Like, it would annoy me if I had to choose.
Yeah.
It would really annoy me. But sports are not everything. And the commitment your wife expects from you
Right.
should be your priority.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
That's kind of a no-brainer.
cut and dry.
It's it's what your priorities are in life. If your wife is not a priority to you, should she be your wife? Is kind of the
Why'd you get married?
why did you get married?
This seems like a scenario where this man is not mature enough for the full responsibilities of,
Yeah.
being there for his wife. But
So, question: if they weren't married, would that change your answer?
I think it would depend on what you're looking for out of the relationship. Obviously, how close they are intimately, emotionally. That would depend. Like, if they just started seeing each other and they're, dating,
Right.
then maybe it's all right. It probably wouldn't leave a very good taste in the chick's mouth, but no fun inside.
Goodness gracious. Get it
But also if you're looking to get married to this woman and you chose to do this, maybe that doesn't set the best example,
Ultimately, it's not a good habit to build.
Yeah,
To
skipping.
choose what you want over your
No.
family.
What would it have to be for the guy to be like, no, come on, I'm going to the football game. Like, come on, man. Like, what would it have to be? Would it, like, maybe just like brunch with her friends or something, or her parents are in
Oh.
town? Like, what would it?
Well, it'd probably have to be her saying, "No, I mean, we're not really doing anything special. I don't need you to be there."
No, not. I don't mean
Or the
it's her
event
birthday.
itself.
I mean, what? Where would it be appropriate for a husband to be like, no, I'm not going to that. I'm going to this football game.
Yeah,
What would the event have to be?
like if it wasn't her birthday.
Yeah, like how significant would it have to be where he's not the asshole? Like brunch with her parents who
Right.
traveled a far way,
Yeah,
you think?
like that.
That would be okay?
But if they travel far away, but
Yeah, like the parents are in town. They don't see them very often.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd still be you should
Yeah.
be in town for the brunch.
I'd still leave that up to her to decide
Mm.
if it's
yeah,
how
that's
important
fair.
this is.
See, that's where it gets difficult because something I experience with Katie all the time is like, I just want you to do whatever you want. I just want you to
Yeah,
do
I
it.
don't believe that.
No. It's a trap.
Mhm.
It's a trap.
'Cause
Don't fall for it.
They don't know what they want.
No.
Well, and that depends on
Well,
person to person.
they might know what they want. They're just not ready to tell you,
Yes.
or they're not ready to have that conversation sometimes.
This is an interesting situation because it doesn't seem like a plan has been made on either side. Just him deciding what to start committing to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Dang. This one was
Asshole.
easy. Asshole for sure. This one was kind of easy. All right, so we wrap it up there.
I think so.
All right, thanks guys. Thanks for listening.